said you ran girls and drugs.
Yeah. Ran them.
What do you mean ran girls? You were a pimp?
For a little while, I was helping out a friend and did her makeup, got her calls, and you know, like it was really hard to watch. I wanted to help her, and she just lied, said that she could do it without being using all the time, and she couldn't, and so it kind of was a backfire on me. When I say that, like. Sorry, I wasn't expecting you to read my stuff out loud, but like,
just the pre-show notes.
That's all good. But yeah, you asked me like some other questions afterwards that I thought would be more, but like that was kind of personal things. I just wanted to like let you know a little bit of who I was. I didn't expect to be put on blast for that, but that's okay. I mean, it's okay.
You wrote it. I'm not putting you on blast. I'm just. When you say you ran
I know.
girls,
I thought you were going to use the questions that you asked me.
Oh, I have those too, but you included this.
I included that when
messages.
I was like, just like letting you know personally, like why, like who I was, and why I thought that I would
curious.
have. Yeah, and you know, I wouldn't say it was a PIMP or anything like that.
What does ran girls? What does that mean?
Like, got them, like got them calls and took them to their spot, did their makeup, made them.
Were the women that you were running?
It was just one girl. Sorry.
Well, you said girls plural.
I said
girls. There was only one girl.
Yeah.
Okay, you said girls, but
But I just like saw.
Was she a prostitute?
Yes.
Okay, and when you say you ran a prostitute, you were the pimp.
I just did her favors and she paid me for it,
But would you stay there while she was meeting with her
wait in the car.
Client? And did the client ever not pay?
No.
Okay. What would happen if a client didn't pay? Would you like go in and have a conversation with him?
I mean, like I'm saying that like I had an experience where I was involved with trying to help a girl get out of a bad situation, and she said she would partner with me to get, onto a better place, and it didn't work out. And
she was trying to get out of a bad situation by prostituting herself? Well,
I mean, like I'm pretty like, what do you call it? I'm pretty accustomed to the game, so like I see.
What do you mean accustomed to the game?
Like I grew up like,
Were you yourself a prostitute?
No, never.
So what do you mean when you were accustomed to the game? And what is the game? I'm very white, so I don't know what the game is.
The game is just like the
pimp game?
Just the underworld of like.
Okay. You did say drugs too, right?
Right.
When you say running drugs, what does that mean? Like dealing drugs, like selling?
No, not like that. Like knowing the dudes that do and being involved with them and stuff like that. Like, and I've like, seeing just the bad side of that type of world, and like having pity for these women that are, and like women that are, think that that's the only way. And I know some girls who can do it like sober and like they're vivacious and they can do that, but like most of the girls that I know are all messed up on drugs, and it's and they do it for survival, and it's not like in Amsterdam or other countries, like it's regulated, like here it's just like.
So what drugs were you running?
What do you mean?
Marijuana? Was it harder drugs?
Marijuana.
You wrote it. I'm just asking about your own disclosure here. Okay. You said I'm not going to go into that. A little dark, but okay. You said you don't do OF. You never got paid for sex. 100% no cosmetic surgery. Mm-hmm. You say you don't hate everything that we say, but some things are really hot.
Yeah, it's hot topics for sure.
Anything like in particular, or?
Probably just like the way that you try to make like. Sorry, I just don't think you guys have the tenderness when it comes to what women go through and how they got to where they are most of the time.
That's true. I mean, I actually have to kind of concede this point to you. I am not, in fact, tender enough to drive women to meet with Johns who are then going to fuck them. I'm going to leave that kind of sort of tenderness up to women like you.
Like I said, I was just trying to help, and I learned a lesson.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just would never be tender enough to be that helpful.
I think that my disclosures had good intentions, and my intentions are pure, whether you want to believe so or not.
Yeah, well, then I could just say that too, right? My intentions are pure. What makes them impure other than you don't think they are? But I can tell you this, I have never driven a woman to try to get her out of trouble to go have a penis put inside of her for money. I've never done that. So I feel like that's the least tender thing I could ever do with a woman. What I do instead is I'll argue their worldview, and I'll argue their belief, and I'll treat them as though they should be heard and their belief should be contended with. Now that seems to be horrible in modernity because men, for some reason, well, not men, but women, for some reason, think that if they're in any way ever questioned and that their view is not completely conceded to and their ass is kissed, that you're an evil doer of nefarious character for some reason. But I got to tell you, I think that the most respectful thing I could do is take what they're actually saying seriously and then contend with what they're actually saying. Now, if I end up destroying their arguments because they're fucking stupid, that's on them. But that has nothing to do with us treating women poorly or without tenderness. It's us treating them like people. I think that it's the most untender thing I've ever heard to be like, hey,
Oh, really?
you're in a bad situation. Let's show up at a guy whose appointment I booked for you. He'll fuck you and give you some money. That doesn't sound very fucking tender to me, I gotta tell you.
That's fair. Like I said, it was an experience that taught me a lot, and I grew from it. And I've wished that there could be some other kinds of ways to be able to protect these girls. And I'm not going to say it's me because I'm just a woman, right? But at least in Canada.
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with you being a woman, but acting in acting in the social role of the pimp probably isn't the best way to protect women. In fact, I would argue it's perhaps one of the worst ways possible to protect women for all the programs which exist.
That's the whole reason why they pay them pay pimps in the first place, though, right? Is because for protection, because of what can happen.
Yeah, but what kind of parasite would allow that? How you be so parasitical that you would actually allow strangers to fuck a woman while you took a percentage of it and then say it's on her behalf? I mean,
yeah, well, it didn't go as well as I wanted it to.
To me, a pimp is so parasitical, a literal parasite on society, almost as bad as a prostitute herself. And so it's like, well, from my view, I think what you're talking about is unadulterated evil from my view.
I think you don't really understand what's really going on in the world here, because we're just there's nothing. If there's a market, then who's paying? It's the men that are paying.
Do you think it's really funny to me when we talk about supply and demand, right? We could make a market out of anything, couldn't we? We could make a market out of murder. We could make a market out of theft. We could. I mean, there could be all sorts of demand for theft, right? And all sorts of suppliers then for theft. But that wouldn't make it right. It wouldn't make it just. It wouldn't make it moral, right? So the thing is you could have thieving gangs, and there's an endless amount of people who want to engage in this activity, right? And tons of supply for the people who want the stolen goods, things like this. It doesn't mean that it's right or it's righteous or it's in any way good. So the thing is when I hear this idea of, well, there's a supply and a demand issue. Yeah, that's true. But what do you think is easier to control? The few thousand suppliers or the millions of consumers? I would say it's far easier to control the suppliers than it is the consumers, right?
Sure. What I don't think that you're understanding from what I'm saying is that we're all just trying to survive out here, and when you learn lessons along the way, you can either choose to continue with the bad, or you can try to be more righteous. I don't think that what I did was right. I just was in the moment, I thought that I was doing the right thing.
Yeah, I understand.
Final thought, Andrew. Final thought.
You have an intention to do what is good, but that doesn't mean it is. So I'm not even beating you up about these decisions. What I'm saying is that making a later justification that I did these bad things based on hardship, right? Because things were hard. It's like, you should read S.E. Hinton's Outsiders. There's a great line in it. It was written by a woman, in fact, when she was 16. Things are rough all over, Pony Boy, right? And what she's saying in this novel is, it doesn't matter if you're the South Side Soch. It doesn't matter if you're a greaser. Things are rough all over. You don't get to make immoral actions because things are really hard. Everybody has hardships. So that's all I'm saying.